tofu high raw recipe is so good. It's called high raw because tofu is cooked. So let me show you how we make it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the exterior with soap because when I cut into the packaging, I don't want any bacteria going into my tofu. So I'm going to cut this over my sink, draining all the liquid out. Removing the wrapper. And then I'm going to squeeze some of this extra liquid out. Because if I don't, it's not going to have the right consistency. And wet tofu is pretty disgusting if you've tried it. All right, so I've got my press. I'm using this one. I'll put the link to the one I have below. And all I'm going to do is make sure this is nice and wide. Put one block in the middle here. Make sure it's centered so it's all pressed evenly. And then squeeze this just gently and then just tighten this up. So I'm going to let this sit for about an hour. 30 minutes is probably good. And then I'll just check it every so often and tighten this just a little more. And then at the end of 30 minutes to an hour, you will see all the liquid that comes out. It's pretty surprising. All right, you don't want to tighten it too much where it's just squeezing out right now, but you can already see some of the liquid is draining out. So we'll come back in about 40 minutes to an hour and I'll show you what the tofu is supposed to look like after it's pressed. You look at all this liquid. So I'm just going to toss out the liquid. I'm going to remove the pressed tofu from the tofu press. This press seems to be the best one. Look at this. So you could see there's a little bit of moisture on there. So I'm just going to take a paper towel and cover and press all 4 sides just gently to get off that extra water. Cutting up 3 blocks of tofu into cubes. And this is so good. It goes so fast. That's why we are using 3 blocks. Here's how the cube tofu looks like. This is what 2 blocks looks like. This is 3 blocks of tofu. Next is getting a red onion, removing the outer layer, tossing away the skin, and then chopping it. And you can chop it in very small pieces or bigger chunks. Just depends on how much of an onion bite you like. One large peeled carrot, diced. One washed, cored, and seeded red bell pepper. Then you're going to want to dice the red bell pepper. The red bell pepper adds a nice sweet crunch to it. 1 peeled cucumber. I like to peel the outside because the skin I find to be too bitter. We're going to dice this just like the other vegetables so that they all are around the same size. Two stalks of washed celery. Some people like to put the celery leaves in, but I find those leaves to be extremely bitter, and I just don't like anything too bitter. And we're going to dice these into very small pieces. If you like tomatoes, go ahead and dice one up and include it. If not, don't. Going to add some saltiness and brininess. These are black ripe olives just from a can, and slicing these. We'll add that delicious saltiness to it. Add as many black olives as you want. Some people like to add chopped raw broccoli or artichoke hearts, but artichoke hearts aren't raw, but those are options for you as well. We are also adding green olives that have garlic in it. They are stuffed with garlic and they are seasoned, so this will add some more flavor to the dish. We like our food spicy, so we're gonna add some jalapenos. Adding some coconut aminos. I'd probably estimate that to be about 3 to 4 tablespoons. Red wine vinegar. Balsamic vinegar. It's nice and rich. Powdered mustard. Smoked paprika. A little more heat. Salt. Bring out the flavors. Granulated garlic powder. Oregano. Dill. Crushed red pepper flakes. Paprika. Freshly ground black pepper. Super healthy. Toss it all together. Try not to get any out of the bowl. You're gonna need a very, very large bowl for this. And as it marinades, it will shrink down a little bit, so there will be more space in the bowl. So I always want to start with a really large bowl. After you have this tossed so that all of the vegetables and the spices and tofu are incorporated, you want to cover it and put it into the fridge and let it marinate for 2 to 3 hours at a minimum. Look at this, it smells so fresh. I can't wait to dig in. Here I just zoodled 1 peeled zucchini and 1 peeled carrot, and it was really delicious, but I usually just eat it by itself. The recipe is in the description below. Let me know if you have any questions.